every single one of you. Welcome to Lead with Intentions, where every single week I, Coach Ambereen, show up here ready to deliver and to serve you. It's truly an honor to cross paths with you, and I want you to know that I really, really appreciate your time because it's the most important commodity in the whole entire world. And the best part of it is you're here prioritizing yourself, making sure that you can step up and keep climbing to be the best of who you are. With that said, welcome to Spanglish World Network and Zingo TV on channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores, iOS, Android, the full Roku lineup, Amazon Suite, any smart TV 2016 on forward, and yes, even those Chromecast devices. As you're downloading this application, which is here to serve you, let us know what are we doing well. Give us those great ratings, and also drop a few comments. Let us know what we can do better to improve your experience because truly we are here to serve and take really good care of you. I know that every single week I bring on a guest and we kind of have deep conversations. We have challenges that we talk through. We talk about how these people morph into becoming who they are. But today I thought with the launch of 2025, let's do something different. Let's really set ourselves up for success. I often talk about this, this intention that I have on the show of making sure that we're allowing and discovering the best of who we are. And my intention is to bring forth topics that are related to better living, creating authentic relationships as we take a journey to unleash the best of who we are. Today, I don't have a guest for you. I know it's really different and it's going to be different for me too. So bear with me as I really start to allow both of us, yourself and me, to prioritize what truly matters. And I often talk about that as being our families. So today, with no further ado, I really want to tap into something different. The first and most important thing that I want every single one of us here to realize and recognize is it's going to be a working session today. As you launch 2025, we're going to take a little bit of time to really do some work because life doesn't just change. In order for our lives to change, we have to do something for them to change, for it to change. And so today, I really want to encourage every single one of you, and I really do appreciate every single one of you who show up here every single week, to dive in and learn how to be more intentional in your lives. So take out that pen and that piece of paper because I want to dive in with you and really set ourselves up for success in 2025. So, with that said, I'm going to kind of actually launch into a presentation mode today, which is very different than the usual. So, as I do this, bear with me, and I will do my very, very, very best to kind of lead you and kind of walk you through what my intention is for today and how we can actually start to launch 2025 while making sure that we prioritize our families. So let's go ahead and launch that presentation and get started to do the hard work. Or maybe not so hard, but let's do the intentional work. All right. Here we go. Okay, so today, like I said, here is a really cute and a simple picture of myself. I'm in the background right there, the tiny lady with the white, and then these are my three little people. And these three little people have really transformed my life. Every single day, they remind me that there's so much more I need to do as a person to really grow. Like as a parent, you're constantly always working, or as a sister, or as a daughter, as a father, whatever title you want to put in there, you're constantly working to better yourself. And somehow you never make the cut. I never make the cut, to be honest with you. It's like you keep striving and they keep reminding you that they expect so much more, that they know that you have more potential, that they're constantly evolving. And there's this way, as that we as family members, as leaders, actually, as parents, we have to keep evolving ourselves to meet our children and even our partners, even our coworkers, where they're at. And I think that's a sign of a great leader. So let's go ahead and dive in. So today, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to set an intention. I'm going to do a quick intro of, just a little bit of spiel about myself. We're going to tap into this important topic of gratitude. And in the back of my screen, you do see the word gratitude appear, and it's there for that one simple reason. Gratitude is a superpower. It is one of the simplest ways that we as people can become happier, kinder, get more blessings, and live into a higher level of abundance. I said to every single one of you that my intention today is to have a prosperous day. And that's where gratitude is going to take us. We're going to take a bit of time to reflect on our 2025, 2024, and then, of course, welcome 2025. I'll want to quickly wrap it up with a quick and a short offer that I have for you that is available for a limited time. But today, really do want you to be very mindful to take out that piece of paper, maybe a pad, and just a pen, and start writing things down. It's through writing stuff down that we realize that there is so much that we can do to actually start to grow. It doesn't really have to be task oriented. It could be just a shift in the mindset, a new way of looking at things, or just allowing ourselves small pauses to know that this too shall pass. All right, here we go. What is our quest today? Our quest is family, fun, and faith. So some of you know that my company is called Tawakkal Coaching, and Tawakkal basically means having belief and faith in something greater than. And that's what I truly want for every single one of us, including myself, and especially for you, to really start to believe in your own greatness, because it's in there. And the best part is, the more that you keep carving away at it, the higher and the more abundant and the greater you become, and the more beauty and glory and joy and fun comes into your life. Now, gratitude really does, honestly does. It's not me saying it. It's the researchers. They say that gratitude brings joy. What does that mean? That means when you appreciate the blessings that you have, the things that are in your life, you actually start to become happier. I know the sages talk about this great concept of every single one of us in our whole life is seeking for one thing. And that one thing is happiness, right? Another word for joy, happiness. Now, today, I'm expecting all of us, you have this app. And on your app, you can actually go in and you can comment and you can engage with me. You can engage with our community in a way. The more that you talk, the more I will read out those comments to you. So when I'm asking these questions, I would love for you to answer them in the comments, in the chat. Let us know, let me know, and let the community, let every single, there are millions of you listening across the world. Let us really know how you're going to make this year, 2025, something where you're striving for more. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. As always, welcome to the club of people who live intentional lives, who really want to discover the best of who they are. And I'm cheering you on as I do every single week, but this time it's a lot more intentional. You see my energy, but then you see the energy of the presentation too. So literally, I'm clapping for you, and I'm so excited to go ahead and get started so we can really start to create and design a life that is worthy of living, where you just shift the narrative from where you are to becoming more intentional about where you want to be and where you want to go, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set that intention. Most of you know that this show is called, Lead with Intentions, is because when we put our intentions out there first, life just starts to get more meaningful, starts to become more blissful. It starts to kind of become more purpose driven. When I say that today, I want to have a prosperous day, every single moment or every task that I do, I'm trying to figure out how can this be more prosperous. And I get it. Most of you think, and I used to think as well, that prosperity is like a money thing, right? It's like financial abundance, having more financially. But prosperity for me is so much more. I want to take that abundance, that fulfillment, that blissful feeling into my family too, not just into my bank account. So on that piece of paper, write down, what is your intention for today? How do you want to show up for yourself? First and foremost, I think often we're so focused on other people that we forget ourselves. So how do you want to show up for yourself, for your loved ones, for those tasks, for those responsibilities, for those family members? Write that down. And you write that down, you want to be really courageous and bold, go ahead, share it share it in the app, share it in the comments, And I'll do my very best to kind of keep those comments up and rolling, so that way, as you share, you can be recognized for being super courageous and putting yourself kind of out there. Okay, let's get into the second portion of this, where I'm talking about, I want you to share a single word that describes the kind of family environment that you want to create. And I'll take a pause here as you think through this. I'm sure there are a lot of words coming in your mind. But the reason why I'm asking you to focus on just one is it becomes kind of like that North Star for your family. When your family is described as, let's say you want to be a kind family, then a lot of the things that you do will kind of streamline that, the kindness element of it. Let's say another family is like, you know what, we want to be adventurous. We just want to explore the world, try different things. And that could even be adventurous with food. That could be bungee jumping, whatever adventure means to you and your family. That becomes that North Star, that light to say, no, we will focus on, so we'll spend time, energy, resource on this, or you know what, we won't, because really not keeping up with that one word that is our family environment. Do you want to be a family of individuals who actually are mindful? And when I'm saying mindful, I mean that you're really honest about the words that come out of your mouth. That when your thoughts are kind of going into a place of negativity, you bring it back and say, you know what? That doesn't serve me. So I'm not going to focus too much time and energy on that. And maybe mindful means that when you're cooking a dinner or doing a task, that you're very intentional about it, that you know where that energy is going. I'm going to share a quick story here, as I really am going to give you a little bit more time to come up with that one word to create that family environment, not only for you, but for every member that lives in your home. Oftentimes when I'm cooking a meal and I'm doing it as a task, because on my list of things to do, right? Like make a fresh meal every single day, and I do it as like a task, my kids notice a difference versus when I actually put my time, effort, my love, and intentionality into it. And I'm telling you this from experience, years and years of experience of cooking for these little people and for my family, is when I'm intentional about the way I cook and the energy that I'm cooking with, 9 out of 10 times I get a ton of compliments. They'll say, Mama, like, the food was so delicious today. I don't know what you did today, yesterday, Mama, but it's like the chicken was so juicy today. Or, hey, Mama, we didn't think it was going to be so yummy, but I ended up eating like more than I normally eat. Whatever it is, however your family's going to see it, that intentionality is so important. Okay. So if you do want to share that one word, that of how your family, you know, how you want to feel as a family, go ahead, drop it down in the comments in our app. And I would love to share that with everybody else here as well. Okay. So let's get going. Now, being thankful and appreciating life adds a sense of vibrancy and a deeper spiritual connection. I get it. I know I'm saying a lot. There's a ladder that's climbing up, right? Like that gratitude portion of it and really seeing everything that you have will allow you to deepen your connection with yourself. And at the end of the day, every single one of us humans, we're just spiritual beings. That spirit that we have that we cannot see, but we can feel, really allows us to just become more at peace, more in a state of calmness, and more accepting of life. And I'm not telling you that life's going to be perfect when like 2025 comes, you work on today and you really take the time out to be intentional and to fill up your notepad with a ton of greatness that you're discovering about your own self and about how you can really zoom in and serve your families and vice versa. I'm not telling you that the challenges will go away. What I'm saying is we're all spiritual beings. And when we connect to our spirituality, when we connect to the essence of who we are, we start to desire more and we start to feel a bit more joyful, a bit more peaceful. Why? because you're doing it with mindfulness. You're doing it with a reason. We are doing something where we're just climbing and intending to be a bit better versions of ourselves. And that's what life really is. Yesterday I was really sick. Like, I had beautiful travel plans and I traveled. I literally came I got on the plane and my body was just like, girl, you did too much. Like, 4 or 5 things every single day, running around, hustling, and doing all the things that you thought were necessary. And now your body's exhausted. Yesterday, I was so sick that I ended up actually having to cancel one of my coaching clients only because I knew I could not serve as my best self. So, what did that mean yesterday? That meant yesterday, resting was far more important to make sure the rest of the week is something that's on a higher vibrancy versus having to just, rut through yesterday and trying to make this whole week possible. Because I know I couldn't show up for you today, even with the snuffles in my nose. I know you can hear it. Even with that, I know that I couldn't show up even like this if I had not been intentional about taking care of myself a little bit yesterday. Okay. So challenges are going to come. I'm not saying they're not going to come. They are going to come, and be okay with that. That's what life is. Life is all about challenges and how we rise through them. Okay. So let's get into a little bit about me. Mostly we're talking about all the guests, the amazing people that show up on this show to serve you through their own stories. And we kind of dive into their stories. But with the launch of 2025, I wanted to make sure that this specific show, this episode, is a little different. And so today it's a little bit about me too. I am a mother of 3 little people that you can see on the screen, and I've got 2 boys and then a girl. They are my biggest teachers and my toughest critics. So, kudos to every single one of you that has a kid. Probably the most difficult job in the entire world. There is a woman by the name of Jamie Kern Lima, and she is the CEO of It Cosmetics that was bought out by L'Oreal Paris for $1 billion, the most expensive transaction that's happened in the beauty industry, acquiring a business. And she put over 10 years of her life and energy into this business. And she said that I can assure you, being a mother is far more difficult than running a business. Being a parent is probably the most difficult job. So, pat on the back for every single one of you who's a parent and who's really trying and striving to do your best, because I assure you, none of us are perfect. All of us make a ton of mistakes. And often, if we can just take those mistakes and learn from them and open that gate of feedback, we can really become better human beings just in general. Okay. Now, that little small picture, not that small, but the tiny people on the other top of the side of the screen it's my family. That's, my mom, dad, my 3 sisters, and their families. And they are the closest people to me, because for me, they've seen me in my downs and my ups. They understand who I am. And a lot of times it's really difficult to be with them. So I'm not saying it like, oh man, like family. In all honesty, it's so true. Like, our family is our toughest critic and they are our biggest challenge. We don't know why we have them, but it's just by divine plan that that's what we need. And I really believe that our family is there to serve us and they push us to be better versions of ourselves. Something I love doing, I talked about it kind of already, is I love cooking. And one of my best friends in the entire world is nature. All the facets of it, kind of going up into northern Pakistan. I discovered the most beautiful mountains, snow capped mountains with it started actually snowing, a few days there. I love forests. I love the sunshine. I love the beaches. You name it, I'm all about it. All the different types and flavors of nature kind of reminds me of how us humans are, all in different facets, all in different ways of being. All right. So now, on that sheet of paper, let's get into the next topic of discussion, and really want you to write down in big letters gratitude, because I talked to you a little bit about this. Like, gratitude is a number one predictor of joy and happiness. And that's what many of us are chasing in this world. So now, this is a tiny picture, and I want to be completely honest with you. This one I took a few years back of my little people, And this is basically the staircase of our home that we were living in with myself and the three kids. And my kids took the middle of the staircase and they brought down mattresses and the mattress, and you can see the pillow, and you can see all the stuffed animals. And they made this simple home for them, this simple sleepover for them. And I really, really, really found this to be one of the most beautiful moments in our lives there. And behind that is what I do to manage their daily tasks. It's this huge, huge, huge whiteboard with a ton of stuff on it, and how every single day they kind of earn points. And at the end of the month, we calculate and see how well they have done. Now, why is gratitude important, Ambreen? Why are you babbling about gratitude so much? And for those of you who are still staying here and attuned to the show, I really want to say thank you. And I want to say I appreciate your patience with me today. And I'm super, super, super grateful to you for taking some time out and doing something a little different today. I know it's a challenge, I know it's difficult to really focus and do some work on this show, but why not start it off right? Why not do something intentional to change the way that life has been and really marshal the life that you want? So gratitude is an extremely highly virtue, It's this form of, I often say it's a form of worship where you're just acknowledging the blessings that you have. And when you start to really tap into gratitude and it becomes streamlined with your heart, it almost morphs into an attitude. I'm still working on getting it to be an attitude like 100%, where I'm constantly mindful of gratitude and all the ways that life shows up for me. All the ways that my body is just working, the organs are just doing their job, the blood is just pumping, and not even having to say anything. Think about it. It's like our breath is a gift that keeps on giving us life. But how often do we tell ourselves, hey, lungs, it's time to breathe? Not often, right? So it kind of keeps coming and coming and coming in ways that often we as human beings don't recognize, including myself. And the way that we express gratitude to other people is through feelings, through actions, and through social interactions. So if I were to give someone that I adore a hug, that's an expression that I have, showing them that I'm grateful for them. If I give somebody a high five for doing a great job, I'm being grateful to them. If I recognize someone for the changes that they've made, that's being grateful. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but when you start to appreciate life, the people that cross your paths, the ways that things have been, life starts to change. When we are grateful, what do we feel? What do we feel as human beings? Well, right there, that's joy, inside out, right? So, joy is such a great reminder of how simple it is, and it doesn't really cost anything. Gratitude is that one simple thing where it's free, it's available at any given time, and it actually improves your life, improves my life, improves our lives. You will have your mood will shift tremendously through gratitude. You can even start to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. And I want to take a moment here and just pause and say that these words are not just words. These are true challenges that we as human beings are dealing with. In the United States right now, anxiety is the number one mental state or challenge that people are dealing with. If you go on my website, coachambreen.com, spelled AMBEREEN.com, you'll read so many stats. And these stats, when I was reading them, I had to take a minute and just stop and process, because we're constantly in a state of anxiety. And what is shown through a lot of research is we are anxious because we're not living in the present. We're either living in the past or worried about the future, which causes us to become a bit more anxious. Is something that we can decrease? Yeah, I think so. I think the work you're doing here today and the fact that you're still here watching and doing some work shows me that you want to have more control of your life, that you want to live more intentionally, and that you really want to find ways to, to be free of diseases, to really improve those, that the thing that matters the most is our relationships. There was a research study done by Harvard University where they followed a group of people for 30 years. And these people reached around the ages of like 70s and their 80s, and they asked them, what has been the number one predictor of your happiness? And the answer was relationships. Not money, not the materialistic things, not the business, not the success. Relationships. And relationships acquire time, effort, energy, intentionality. And that, a lot of it, kind of, you can tie a bow around it with just the word gratitude. The more grateful that you are, not only will you feel more joy, but you also start to feel more satisfied in your life. Okay, so here it is. As you've written down the word gratitude and taken some notes, hopefully, during this session, feel free to share this next one. The activity that I have for you is, I want you to write down 10 things that you are grateful for in this very moment. I'll give you a little bit of time, and I should take out time to do the same for myself. So go ahead and write down 10 things in this exact very moment that you are truly grateful for. Okay, I've got my pen here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and write just like you to make sure that we can both do the work together, or we can all do the work together. Just about 30 more seconds, and then, we can dive back into the conversation. All right. So I'd love for you to kind of just, on that app, go ahead and share. Share what it is. Share one thing from your list. What is one thing that you wrote down about what are you grateful for in this very moment? I wrote down, I'm grateful for every single one of you, for these people, my viewers, my intentional family that shows up here, ready to do a little bit more, desire more for themselves, for their family, for their loved ones, and just learn, listen, and even shift that perspective to do things that are a bit more intentional. The fact that you're here, I appreciate you far more than you can possibly imagine, because without you, there would be no me. Without you, there would be no show. And it's every single week that you guys just show up with so much love and care, intentionality, that really does excite me. I'm the reason why I do this is because of you. So I wrote that as one of them. The other thing I'm super grateful for is this remarkable network. Like Spanglish World Network, Zingo TV. They made this possible for you and for me. For us to be miles away from each other in different continents and still tune in this moment of serendipity, nothing short of magic, honestly. Okay. The other thing, my hands and my fingers. Why? Because I can hold that beautiful pen and write with it. Jewelry. Why? Because for me, these earrings, I'm sure you guys notice every single week I've got something popping. My earrings are my biggest way of expressing myself. So I'm praying that by this time you've already had that list of 10 written down. If not, as we keep going, kind of write that down. And when I'm giving you this tool of writing things down, 10 things down, I want you to know that on those days that you're not feeling so well, that you're not feeling so amazing, take some time out and just write down 5 things you're grateful for in that very moment, and watch the way your brain shifts and the energy changes around you, because gratitude will do that. However, you and I have to make that into an actual practice, a consistent practice where we are intentionally finding gratitude and writing things down to shift from a state of sadness or low or loneliness to be more appreciative of all the ways that life shows up for us. All right. So let's move on from gratitude onto reflection. So the next topic of discussion is going to be reflection. What are we reflecting on? That 2024, the year that has already passed. Why reflect? Like, Ambereen, what's going on with you? Why are you making us do all this work today? Well, because in order for us to process life, and the key word here is without judgment. I believe often we think about what life is doing and working against us, and how we are not showing up as our best selves and how we're falling short. And we have all these ways of judging ourselves, and then we judge other people too. But I want you to reflect without any judgment. Like I said, yesterday I had to cancel my coaching client, one that I was excited to serve, to say, you know what, I really am trying, but I don't have the capacity, nor do I have the energy that I know that you deserve to serve you through this call. Can we reschedule? And she was super appreciative and said, yeah, let's do it, Ambereen. Whatever you need, let me know. We can change it to a few days later, whatever time works. Let's go ahead and communicate that offline. And how lovely is that? Now, if I was in the exact same place, being like, oh, you're such a bad coach, can't believe this, you're not showing up for her. So if you were gonna cancel it, you should have done it a week before. So what if you're sick? Get through it. And the old version of me, the 2023 version of me, yes, would totally just bypass and go through and feel burned out by the time that Wednesday came in. But this new version of me realizes that self-care is so important. And that's just processing life without judgment. And also, when we reflect, right now, what you're doing, what I'm doing, what we're doing together in our show today, Lead with Intentions, is we are learning from our past experience and we're just reflecting. This way, we develop more skills. Now, skills don't have to be like, I learned how to create a presentation, I learned how to sell something, I learned how to build a web page. No, simple skills. How to be kind to myself. What does self-care look like today? What is self-love? These types of things will actually help you get through the day far more than building a web page. It also improves our overall well-being. When we reflect, this is all research, right? Research shows us that people who reflect, who journal, who write down the things that have happened in life will start to improve their overall well-being. Because when you write things down, something truly magical happens when that pen or that ink meets the paper. It's like you start to morph into a different mindset. You start to almost become an observer of your life versus the one that's partaking in it. And what this starts to do is it transforms us to grow, and it really pushes us to change positively. If I'm somebody who has an intention of spending some time in the early AM hours before my kiddos wake up for school and just focusing on me. Let's say I tell myself, you know what? I'm going to spend 10 minutes before my kids wake up just to meditate, or just to pray, or just to sit quietly, whatever you want to call it. You could read, you could write, you could journal, you can do whatever, or exercise, whatever, stretch, yoga, anything. And I start to notice that every single day I'm having a very difficult time getting up. And I'm reflecting on it. Of course, I'm not judging myself, right? There's no judgment here. Then I can start to see the patterns that have to change. And in my own life, when this happened, I'm being completely honest, is I realized I don't love myself enough. I don't prioritize myself enough to say that I deserve 10 minutes out of the day or the early AM hours before I serve everybody and everything else. When I got that nugget out of my reflection, I had to really be kind to retrain my mind, my body, and my soul to say, no, you know what? I am worthy. I am going to do that. So reflection really does allow us to create something new. And we create this new by just observing and watching and seeing the patterns that unfold in the pages that are before you right now, which is why I'm really hoping that you're still here, tuned in, doing some conscious work, something that you're writing down to allow yourself to grow. Because if you're a family member, which most of us are, others will start to benefit from our changes. Others will start to become better watching us evolve and transform. So it's like a butterfly effect. And all of you see the butterflies, in my logo, in this show. And that butterfly is basically when you and I change, we start to trickle and leave behind something greater for other people to watch, witness, and evolve into because they see that we are doing it. So now let's get into reflecting on 2024. I want you to write down on that sheet of paper, what is the nicest thing that someone did for you last year, in this year of 2024? And as you're writing this down, the reason why it's really important is to really see how people show up for us in ways sometimes we can't imagine, or sometimes in ways that we expected. So what's the nicest thing someone did for you? And if you want to share that in the comments, in the chat of our app, please do. I don't have to read your name out loud. I can just share that. I can just share that someone did something wonderful for you. Yeah, and sometimes it's a simple thing of like someone just calling you at the right time when you were really down. Someone offering to take care of your children because you were not well. Someone bringing you a home cooked meal because you had so much going on with the busyness of life. And these small things that people do for us really start to show us that we matter and that we're cared for. That is so necessary, for us as human beings. The next thing I want you to answer is, what is that one thing you wish you could have changed this year or about the 2024 year? What's that one change that you needed in 2024, in this year of 2024? Did you need to become more productive? Did you need to become more disciplined? Did you need to become kinder? Did you need to take some time out every single day for you? Did you need to intend on cooking a home cooked meal once a week? What was that one thing that you could change about 2024? Now, this last one here is one of the ones that I love. And that is, what's that one challenge that made you grow the most in this year of 2024? Challenges come to us, and sometimes they take us down, sometimes they really elevate us to grow. What's that one thing that happened that really pushed you to grow? For me, I would say that it was really setting boundaries and reiterating them. Once I set boundaries, I was able to let go of a lot of relationships that didn't serve me and communicate in a very kind way to say, you know what? I wish you nothing but the best, but the person that you're showing up as is not the energy that I want to mingle with anymore. Or that, hey, you know what? I'm always here to support you, but I'm not going to sit through a phone call where you're just bashing other people or gossiping about somebody. Or boundaries being, you know what? I really would love to join your party, but I can't really join because you're driving an hour away on a weekday and I won't be home before 11 a.m., 11 p.m. And those simple things, which are challenges to communicate because we all want to be kind and loving people. However, without those boundaries, in the year 2024, my life would not be as successful getting into 2025. All right, let's welcome that new welcoming 2025 as a family. Now, why are these goals important? Why are we doing the work here today to say that, what, let's get intentional. Let's focus on this. Let's do a little bit of work. Because goals will in a way motivate us. They provide us a place to go, right? What are we, like I told you in the top of the hour, what is that one word that you want to use to describe your family? And that's what that is. That one word will become kind of like that motivation, that target that you're working towards. And the more goals that you accomplish, the more motivated that you become. And you know where you're marching towards. The reason why goals are also important is because they help us prioritize what matters. When you and I know where we need to focus, where that clear view is, where we're heading towards, so much easier to say no to all the wrong things, right? So I said that for one of you, maybe, your goal this year or that word for your family is to be adventurous. Now, every single thing that comes into your life or your family's life, you're going to prioritize that against the word adventurous. And if it doesn't meet the cut, politely say no, right? If it's something that doesn't excite your family, you can of course say no. However, making sure that you're prioritizing what matters means that you're having a clear view and a focus of where you're going towards. Many times we know where we want to go, but we're not really making any actions or doing anything to get there, which is where that beautiful thing of accountability comes into play, right? Accountability really help make our goals possible. And as I told you earlier as well, during this lovely episode, failure is part of the process of learning. Welcome it. I told you I could not take out 10 minutes for myself in the early AM hours before serving my family. And so I was failing every single day. I was getting mad at myself. But instead of getting mad at myself and judging, what we all need to learn is part of the process. That's how we as human beings learn. And it's okay. To be accountable is what matters. Did you try? Did you attempt? Did you create an intention? Did you action it in some way to make that possible? Also, goals are one of the best and the most amazing ways of becoming more productive. And when you start to become more productive, our brain releases this beautiful chemical called dopamine. And dopamine is what they call the happy chemical, the feel-good chemical. It really allows us to become more productive. There's a research study that was done, which I think is so adorable. Is when people create like a checklist of things to do, and we have like a box next when we go check, 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 check. Every time you literally mark, like do a check mark, your brain gets happier. And the happier that it gets, the more dopamine it releases and makes you happier and happier, allowing more pleasure to come into your life and really starts to make us more productive. And hey, it's all about bringing that joy, right? That gratitude, that joy really comes from living into the person that you want to be, from reflecting and growing every single day of our lives. And as we're setting goals, it really does allow us to create a sense of purpose. And as a family, don't you want like a shared mission? That one word, that's your mission. That's where you're charging towards. That's where your North Star is. And when we can do that, we can actually start to lead our families in unity because not every single person has their own agenda. It's just one. Okay? So, as we get into 2025, and I know the show's going to wrap up in a little bit, so I want to actually ask you guys, how do you want to feel in 2025? How do you want to feel now? Not describe your family. How do you want to feel? Write that down. And it could be maybe a list of one, it could be a list of 5, whatever you want to write down. Do you want to feel more grateful? Do you want to feel more joyful? Do you want to feel more content? Do you want to feel more purpose driven? Do you want to be more conscious? Do you want to feel more energized? What do you want to feel? And what is that one thing that you need to change this upcoming year? What do you want to change this upcoming year to really launch into the best of who you are? And this is where the work is getting done, right? Do you have to create stronger boundaries? Do you have to take a little bit of time before the day starts to focus on you? Do you have to eat a little bit? Do we have to eat a little bit healthier? Do I want to take some time out before the end of the day to reflect? Do I want to create a task list of things that are important? 3 things to get done today. Do I want to set an intention every single day? What is that? What do you got to do? Okay. And now, as a family, how would you want to connect? Lead with intentions is led by myself. And my intention is to serve families, to unite you guys in harmony with gratitude, with acceptance, and really live into shared values. So, how do you want to connect as a family? And last bit here, which I think is so critical, and I really want you to take a note of this one and make it into an activity with your family later today, if possible. If not, add it to your to do list for the week. I want your family to do a simple activity together. I want every single member to come up with 3 to 5 values that are foundational for your family. They're kind of like the pillars of your family. And as you define these values, I want you to start to really think about taking that whole list and convincing each other to come up with anywhere from 3 to 5 values that define your family, that are the pillars of who you are. And so, reach out to me on social media as Coach Ambereen across every single social media and share with me what that list is. It will really excite me and really make me happy to know that you're setting yourself up and your family and your loved ones up for success. And that's what truly matters. Okay. Because in reality, it all starts with us. Now, as a coach, as a family driven coach, my commitment to you is to build a successful life, to really create harmony within your homes. And I want our children to feel loved and to value what really matters as we create a supportive and a strong community within each other, within our homes, and so to really build intentional human beings. Now, my question to you is, how important is family in your life? If you ask any person what is the most important thing, I'm telling you, 99% of people will say my family. It's really the ultimate. However, we don't spend much time devoting our life and our resources and our time and our energy into our family. So, my offer to you today is I'm starting brand new bi weekly group coaching programs. So, go ahead and scan that QR code, and it will take you to this beautiful, simple page. And this page will define a bit more about the offer. We're going to dive in bi weekly, it's virtual. So, from anywhere in the world where you are, you can finally start to access groups coaching programs with me. And you know that I've been on this journey with you for some time. So if you trust the work that I'm doing, if you trust the people I'm bringing on, and if you've learned anything, give it a shot. You literally have nothing to lose and you have limitless potential to gain as you and I work together to really understand how it is that we can launch and tap into your greatness, because truly it is limitless. Now, what we're going to go through in these group coaching sessions, which are all going to happen virtually bi-weekly, is we're going to discover what you really want in life. And when you know what you want, it's so much easier to get there versus saying, I want to be rich. Okay, great. Well, what does rich mean? How much money has to be in your bank account versus how much money do you have to make versus how much money are you spending on things that you love? So we're really breaking it down. Or you say, you know what? I want a family that is just loving. Okay, well, how do you start to live into that and really showcase that and role model that for your loved ones so that way they can start to become more loving too? Because people are watching us, no one's listening to us. How do you really uplift energy to do all the things that are important in your life, the things that matter, where you increase productivity, where you influence people consciously, where you really uplift yourself to live the best life that you have. Because often people have said to me, Ambreen, I don't have the energy. I am drained. The more energy that you learn to cultivate and create for yourself, the more you'll feel a boost of energy and productivity. And productivity will allow you to really contribute to what matters, to really prioritize the things that really matter to you. So the group coaching programs are split up. There's specific ones that we're going to cater towards the youth. And this is just allowing little people to feel a sense of belonging. Because most people, most youth in the entire world now are feeling lonely, thinking that their struggles are only theirs, when in reality, everyone else is struggling with the exact same thing. So this environment really allows us to create a space for the youth to feel heard, to get tools and tips on how to live better lives, to manage their stress, and to really start to identify who they are and create the version of themselves that they're happy with. For women, we really go deep and we talk about really vulnerable things. We talk about the challenges that they're facing in their homes, how they might not feel heard and understood, how they're not appreciated for everything that they do to make the home run, or even the efforts that they have. When in reality, as women, we get to influence the future generations all the time. And then, of course, for men, the struggles are different. It's really understanding, how do you lead your family? How do you start to build relationships that are really important and manage that stress? Because a lot of men, research shows a lot of men are constantly thinking about this financial burden that they have. And so through group coaching, there's so much that you're going to start to do. Now, if you are absolutely ready to level up and really start to succeed and become the next best version of your life, and you are seeking a supportive community, follow the QR code. Go ahead and join that group coaching. The offer is only available for the next 24 hours. After that, things get bumped up. This is my first time ever doing this, and I'm super, super, super honored that you've been with me thus far. Go ahead and click on that QR code. At the least that you can do is just browse through, see what's available. And that webpage will really give you a lot more information about how you can become the next best version of you. So now, I want you to know that I really appreciate you. I appreciate you being here as late as you have been, kind of continues conversation through, and really putting for the time and effort to be here to serve yourself first and foremost. Now, I believe in your greatness, and I know that you will start to believe in your greatness as well when you start to give this group coaching a chance. See what I have to offer. And you know what? If you don't like it, you can always opt out. Now, with that said, I want to wrap up our show today. And I really, really, really want to say thank you so very much for every single one of you who came this far and, has done some work to set yourself up for success. Now, so as we wrap up this show, the show can be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and the programming. And for all the news and the programming, as we close, every single week is exact same intention. My prayer is that this show will embark us on a transformative path to be grateful for our blessings, to accept the unfoldings of life, and to really commit to values and dreams which will allow us to tap into our own greatness. As I have tawakkul, faith in all of us, when we unleash our authenticity, we start to live intentionally. Remember, there's only one of you, one life designed by excellence. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it. Most importantly, live into it with an intention to better serve you. Until next week, folks. Bye. Thank you so